man, Bitcoin is tearing faces, touching $108,000, but altcoins are stalling. Is now the time to worry? I'm going to break down exactly what is going on in the Bitcoin chart and share some of my new price targets, which will shock you. If you like these updates, smash the likes. Do not forget to subscribe. An incredible time to be in crypto. I mean, we're sitting here with fear and greed sitting at 87. Of course, this market is super jubilant. This is a Bitcoin price action that is just after the election, just completely stormed off, right? Consolidation pattern here, retest, and boom, off it went. And this is a really predictable big trade, right? Even if you just took it from that point up to here, 58% returns on, Bitcoin. And many people are sat there with portfolios in altcoins, which we're going to come on to as well. But this just reminds you of the message of don't forget to eat your veg, right? On this channel, you guys know I always talk about don't forget Bitcoin, don't forget Ethereum. I know it's boring. I know you want your 10x's and your 50x's and your 100x's with your altcoins. But sometimes on days like this, you're just appreciating holding the easiest crypto there is to hold. Because remember, crypto is a volatile beast, right? It's quite unforgiving at times. And sometimes just having the stable Bitcoin and Ethereums of the world just gives you a little bit of peace. It gives you a little bit of staying power. Because crypto ultimately is about staying power. It's about your ability to stay in the market. Because the fact of the matter is, loads of people have lost money in crypto, right? We know that statistically. And yet Bitcoin is at an all-time high. So theoretically, if you never sold, you're always in the green, right? Every single person who has ever bought Bitcoin is in the green, and they're in the green by a lot if they just didn't chase candles, right? And so those who FOMO'd in even at 64, those who FOMO'd in and made the biggest mistakes at the end of 2021 buying in the extended bull run at 69,000, had they have just held, right? Had they have just held, they're sitting up 52% on that investment. So more so than anything, buying quality and holding really does help you. Now, of course, we're a bit more nuanced than that here on this channel. You guys know that I don't just sit here being a Bitcoin maxist. I hold altcoins. I want altcoins which move faster than Bitcoin. I mean, right now, do you expect a crazy 10x immediately on Bitcoin? No. Can it happen within a 5, 10, 15-year horizon? Absolutely. And we'll get onto my price target shortly. But altcoins can do that rapidly. So I always say you need a good balanced portfolio, but you've got to be holding some Bitcoin, Ethereum. And then you can have your crazy risky plays. Speaking of those crazy risky plays, why are they not moving? Why is it that Bitcoin is storming up here again today, yet everything else is red? I mean, you've got Ethereum down 1%. I mean, you've got Phantom down 2.5%, Cardano down 1.3%, Avalanche down 0.8%. You've got actually Algorand is up 3%, which is interesting. Aptos down 4%, Atom down 2.8%. Most altcoins here, Optimism down 5%, are in the red. And that's evident, right? Bitcoin dominance is notching up here today, and this shouldn't be a surprise. We're seeing Bitcoin set the precedent, and you shouldn't be worried by this. I've spoken about this a lot. A lot of people keep messaging, what's going on with altcoins? What's going on with altcoins? Are we not getting involved in this bull market? No. Bitcoin has to set the pace. What Bitcoin is doing now is fantastic. Ever since the start of crypto, what happened? It was Bitcoin first, right? And then the thesis was look for other altcoins. Nothing has changed. Money will flow into Bitcoin first. When people start to think that Bitcoin's topped out for this cycle, you start to see money flowing across into Ethereum, right? Which incidentally, Ethereum the other day touched 4,100. Right? Yesterday, I was at a high of 4,100. So you're going to see Ethereum continue to move. You'll then see other large caps in the top 10, top 20. Eventually, that money starts dissipating into more of your risky plays, your low caps, your gaming tokens, your NFTs. This is the cycle. And there's no reason to suggest this cycle will be any different, right? So in terms of your altcoins, you've got some good opportunities, right? If we look at this altcoin season index, we're not even in the altcoin season bound. We were there briefly and then we just came back down again. So we still are firmly in this mid-market where really Bitcoin is setting the tempo and altcoins still have more to go. I'm going to prove this to you another way. Take a look at this. This is the total crypto market cap, and I've shared this with you guys a couple of times. Bitcoin is included in this total market cap. This is every single crypto, and we're at a record high, $3.64 trillion in this market right now, eclipsing the previous high we set in November of 2021. If we then go to the total market cap excluding Bitcoin, right? Excluding Bitcoin, look at this. We've not touched the all-time high. The all-time high was at this period where you had 1.71 trillion, we've not touched it. We didn't touch 1.71 trillion. So we're not at all-time highs, right? The all-time high, well, when we looked at it with Bitcoin, had something like this. It broke through it and it went up here. So we've got a lot more way to go. Let's take a look at this for total 3, which excludes Ethereum as well. So this is all your altcoins. Again, not eclipsing that previous high. Again, you'd want to see something like this and for it to start its next leg up to the upside. So more money is still yet to flow in to altcoins, right? Ethereum included and other altcoins as well. So I'm being really patient here. This move we're seeing over the last kind of couple of months was just catching up. And that's what's crazy. If you're up on your portfolio right now, you are not in altcoin price discovery overall as a market cap. Now, I know certain coins are doing really well and they're above all-time high, but as a market, as the total money in the crypto market, we're not yet at all-time highs in terms of altcoins. And that's really, really exciting because we could still have easy. I mean, let's just take this on Bitcoin, right? Let's just take the measured move here on Bitcoin. We think altcoins can move much more than Bitcoin. Bitcoin already has 21% more than its previous all-time high. So if we take that to altcoins and say, okay, we've still got another 20% to go from our previous all-time high, I mean, that's taking you up here. Let's just put that there. 1.37 trillion just in altcoins. And we're only at 1 trillion right now. So a lot more to go here. And I think that's what's exciting is if you think you're doing well now, just be patient. I think altcoins will explode powerfully. I think Ethereum will go first, and then we'll see some altcoins. Let's now jump on back to the Bitcoin price target because something interesting is happening, right? We are seeing that a bunch of money is coming into Bitcoin. We know that in terms of the ETF inflows. We know that in terms of institutional adoption. We're hearing about all the different strategic reserves that different governments and companies want to use Bitcoin as a strategic reserve. It makes sense, right? This is just but an inevitability. Those of you who are around early days in Bitcoin, this was the thesis that would play out. But look at this. Look at the previous cycles. This was 2017 to 2018. 205% of the demand, right, was in new people, new investors coming into the market. Now, just behind my head here, it was 64% briefly and then 70%, right? 70%. We're nowhere near the sheer mass of tourists that are going to come into this market. And that's really interesting because I woke up this morning with a bit of an interesting feeling. I was like, okay, this is getting really, really toppy. And if you've been around in previous cycles before, you're going to probably start to feel the same thing because you're going to start to see the signs of a bull market. And whilst those are fun and exciting, it's also unnerving because we don't know how long the bull cycle is going to last. And if you were here in previous markets when, Bitcoin ran up to 64,000, everyone thought, it was going to go to 100, etc. And then it fell all the way down to a bad summer where we went back down to 19. Then it went up to 69, yay. And then we had our bear market. Right? So it's almost like, when is this music going to stop? And nobody knows the answer. Nobody knows the answer. We have our predictions. We go through everything we're going for. But the reality is you need to be prepared. Because right now, tourists are coming into the market. The signs of a bull market, everybody being greedy. Fear and greed index, like I just showed you, sitting at extreme greed. Loads of crypto interviews suddenly, right? Everybody wants to do a crypto podcast. Everybody wants to become a crypto YouTuber. And yet we were here in the bear markets. So these are all the signs that we're seeing a bull market. Not a bad thing. Not a bad thing. We want people to be interested in crypto. We want people talking about crypto. We want, this market to continue. But that's the point. We have to, at some point, identify when is the music going to stop. I don't think that's yet, like I just shared with you. I think Bitcoin's doing its thing. I think Ethereum will do its thing. I think you'll get a chance for your small caps. And then when we start to see some of those other ones start to play out, the gaming, the NFTs, you will see in my daily update videos, my demeanor will probably start to change where I want to be taking a little bit more risk off the table on some of my riskier altcoin plays. Stuff that I don't want to hold multi-cycle. And I think that's an important differentiation. When you have your portfolio, you should have things that you just want to hold for this cycle, and then you should have things that you're willing to hold multi-cycle. For example, my Bitcoin and even to a certain extent my Ethereum, I don't mind holding that through bear market. I held my Phantom through bear market as well. I don't mind holding certain coins which I believe in and have conviction in for a very long time. But those which I'm almost like kind of just riding the momentum on for that particular cycle, I've got to have a date when I'm out, right? I've got to find out when the music stops and make sure I've realized my profit. Otherwise, I'm just a fool where my portfolio's gone all the way up and then bear market, I ride it all the way down and I'm sat there with no dollars to my name. right? And that's important. Either you're converting into Bitcoin, which is great, you're increasing your net worth in Bitcoin or Ethereum, or you're kind of just sitting there on paper money. So you've got to be realistic and smart with some of those plays as well. Now, we've spoken about Bitcoin. We've spoken about our price targets. Remember this, the Fibonacci I shared with you guys? I shared this with you for a very long time. We connected here. We retested in the Fibonacci golden pocket. Right? Exactly the Fibonacci golden pocket. We bounced, hit our first price target of 89. I shared my next price target of 97, got hit. My final price target, 1618 level. The Fibonacci golden extension is at 110,000. I think that's going to be an important level. I think we'll hit that level on Bitcoin. And do not be surprised to see a little bit of a correction after that. Do not be surprised to see Bitcoin doesn't just rip straight through it. That being said, of course, Bitcoin is showing tremendous strength right now, but don't be surprised to see at least maybe one weekly red candle or a little bit of a correction here before then trying to go higher than that. And I guess the question then goes, how much higher, right? And you can do a bunch of different models. You can kind of plot how much market cap you think Bitcoin's going to reach. But I found one that was really useful was the log graph, right? If you use the log growth curve on Bitcoin, it gives you a nice little rainbow view of, how high could this cycle go as a percentage, and you can see it's got diminishing returns as you kind of go longer down the time scale. But a target up here of the upper bound really here is sitting at 189 to 200,000, right? This upper bound in the red zone, which typically the red zone would indicate, don't buy. This is generally a sell area, and the green area is generally a buy area. You can see that we're in this middle ground. Yes, we're far from the perfect dip buys. These opportunities came in the bear market. We had plenty of chance to buy at good prices, but also we're not quite at the peaks, right? We're not in these red nasty zones, like particularly here in 2017, 2018, where we broke through that. Even in the last cycle in 2021, which we spoke about, we're right at the top of the curve. We still got some room. We've still got some room for us to kind of work our way here to the upside, and there could be a nice little bit of return of another doubling maybe even here on Bitcoin to kind of get up to that 200k level. Fits within this model. So it starts to become difficult now to price in how much momentum there is on Bitcoin. Of course, you've got the Trump inauguration coming as well. We've got Jerome Powell in this week delivering what we hope will be an interest rate cut. The market has priced it in. If he doesn't, expect to see some pain in the market. But overall, we're in a good place. And it's not just crypto. I mean, jump on over to, the traditional markets. And traditional markets are doing well as well, right? We're seeing good growth. I mean, if we jump onto the S&P chart, which I can show you, we're seeing good growth. I mean, this is the weekly chart on the S&P. You've done really, really well on the S&P. If you invested for any decent period on the S&P, and I also dabble in some stocks as well. I mean, November 2023 up until now on just the S&P, you've done 47%. So the only people really messing up right now are those taking leverage bets, gambling, not having a strategy, right? A clear strategy, and ultimately not invested. Sometimes you just need to DCA, you need to accumulate. The more cryptos you own, the better you're doing. And I think that's the best way to think about it in this type of market. Now, a lot of people are asking me, am I buying in these markets? Look, Bitcoin's expensive right now, right? Granted. But the reality is, if you think, and this is why I'm saying, I can't compare my buys to somebody who's new in the market. If you're new in the market and you didn't buy at 15,500 or even lower like I was doing, then it's difficult, right? It's difficult. You're like, do I buy this at 105, 106, 107, 108? It comes down to your thesis. If your thesis and your time horizon is like, I want to hold this thing for at least 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, you have a decent time horizon, then buying Bitcoin now will be cheap in the future. Those who bought at 69, like I shared with you, bought at the peak, they probably thought they were FOMOing. And if you sold subsequently, then of course you made a stupid decision. But had you have just held over 4, 5, 6 years, or in this case, just from 2021 now to 2024, 3 years, you would have done very, very well, right? You're sitting on some nearly doubled up Bitcoin, despite you buying at the peak of the last cycle. And I think that's what's important. Bitcoin is an asset class that's limited. You've got 21 million tokens. There's not going to be any more. Demand continues to go higher and higher and higher from institutions, from governments, from rich, high net worth individuals. You need to decide. Do you want to be in fiat currency, or would you rather have some in the best asset class known to man? Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you like this type of content, smash the likes. Do not forget to subscribe. If you want to trade actively with me, you can do so in my Telegram group, ijazcrypto.com/TG. I'm taking active altcoin trades, which you guys can see. Link is in the description. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.